Yes, sorry, I was just finishing a chocolate. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. This is Savva Stel. Ask us anything. Please keep it sensible. Please don't make your question about other YouTubers. I'm not going to bring them up. Please, please, please keep it sensible. Look, this is a show where we're here to talk about football. We're here to answer. We're here to answer football questions. So please get your questions in. I'll let them build up for a bit. I've got I've got 7 or 8 at the moment. I've got one that was sent to me via YouTube in my comment section. So we'll get to that in a bit. Stel, how are you? You doing well?
Yeah, not too bad. I had a really, really good night's sleep last night, and I feel really fresh for once. Normally Spurs drains you and it just takes any bit of energy out of your life. But look, I'm in a good mood, Savva. We've got the protest coming up on Sunday. Looks like we're going to have good numbers there. There's YouTube channels now on board with it. Not as many as I would like, but more than normal, which is great. And all the things we've been saying for 5 years and all the things we've been addressing where others were scared to say it. Now everyone's come to our train of thinking about, look, enough this ownership. What's the point? And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what reaction we get on Sunday, man. So yeah, good, all good. How are you doing? You all right?
Mate, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's been a tough 48 hours. It's been a really, really tough 48 hours because of this little guy. Ups and downs. Every time he runs about as normal, I'm like, there you go. There's nothing wrong with him. And then the moment he lays down and sleeps, I'm like touching him, making sure he's still breathing. It's not fun. Yeah. But listen, Tottenham. We will get to some questions as they come in. As I said, only the sensible ones will get answered. Unfortunately, not Avi. Unfortunately, he's been read his last rights, so we'll see how long he's got. But thank you anyway. Still, before we get to the questions, I'm sure some of the questions will probably have this in them, in this topic in them. Lots of reports the last 24 hours. I never know what's true or not about Qatari takeovers. And my understanding is that the Qatari takeover, my understanding means this is what I've read on multiple sources, is that they want to take over Spurs, but they want to give a long-term contract to Daniel Levy to still run the football club. And I guess this goes down to the age-old thing. Would you accept owners that come in and say, yes, we're buying Tottenham outright, however, we would put Levy in? Now, even if this is nonsense, even if this story isn't true, it's a possibility in the future. Would you be okay with that? New owners, but Daniel Levy is still the man heading up the football club?
No, I wouldn't be happy with it at all, because the biggest problem we've got is that the club is stale in terms of the chairman's vision of how the football side of things should be run, the board of directors' vision of how to operate the football club, the way the entire footballing operation is managed. So for me, I want a complete fresh set of eyes, a new identity. You know, when people say we've got our Tottenham back, I don't want our Tottenham back. Tottenham have been shit for 3 decades. I don't want my Tottenham back. I want a new Tottenham. I want a modern Tottenham, one that thinks outside the box, but isn't scared to take the kind of risk to take the team to the levels we've not seen for too long. So I want a new fresh of eyes, a new fresh way of behaving, a new way of operating. And if Levy's here, he is symbolic of all those old problems. The reason Ryan Mason is still a coach at Spurs is because of people like Levy. See, I want it all gone. I don't want Ryan Mason near the club anymore. I want the entire coaching team gone, manager, recruitment team. I want a completely new, clean slate project where someone sits down with a piece of paper, Savva, and says, okay, number 1, the goal is to win the Premier League. That's the goal. Number 2, we're going to need 4 to 5 years. Number 3, this is the manager to do it. These are the types of players we're going to need. these are the academy players that we're going to circle that we think can be a part of that project, and then start building it and communicate to the fans. A completely new way of doing it with an actual goal. Like, how many times do we do shows and we say, what are we doing? What is the purpose of this? Where are we going? What project? I don't want to have to ask any more questions. I want to sit here as a fan and say, I know where we're going and I know what we're trying to achieve. And if we don't achieve it, we don't achieve it. But at least we know that someone has got a plan and they know what they want to achieve with the club, and we're going to give it a real goal. And I think if Levy's here, I don't see how that works, because he will bring all those failures and poor ways of operating from a footballing perspective to the it will still linger, Savva. It needs to be, it's almost like you buy a house, let's strip it, let's gut it out and redo it. Keep the shell, but let's redo it. New walls, new installation, radiator, boiler, furniture, and a new family to move into it. If Levy's still part of that, I just don't see how it works, Savva. I don't.
Do you know I was thinking it from the other way as well, just to give it a different slant. It might well be great. So Daniel Levy comes in. Daniel Levy stays in, and new owners want to chuck money at it. Think of it from the other clubs. They're still dealing with Daniel Levy. They've dealt with Daniel Levy for years. They know how Spurs operate. That same feeling is going to be there about, oh, Spurs are interested in our player. Oh, we've got to have a meeting with Daniel Levy. So for me, I look at it from that side of things. Big up to everybody in the chat. Hope you're well. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Let me get some questions. First and foremost, I want to look at some of the questions that were left under the post in the community. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. The first question was from Dropkick Your Teacher. That's a great name, isn't it? Dropkick Your Teacher was a simple question. It said, with us already being at 13 losses, do you see us getting to 20 losses this season? I mean, it's almost like it's an achievement. Imagine losing 20 games in a season. Stel, is it possible? 14 games left. Can you see another? I can't see 7 more defeats. Can you?
I think the question is, who cares? We're not. Who cares? Like, the season's done. It's clinging on to this Europa Cup hope, I think, is comedy. It's almost like we never learned. But yeah, look, we could end up on 20 losses. I think losing the next 50% of our games would be something out of this world, extraordinary. Is it beyond the realms of possibility? No. I think we'll probably lose another 4. I mean, we've got to go away to Anfield. We've got to go away to Chelsea. We've got some difficult games against the Bournemouths, the Fulhams. Man United, I don't think it's an easy game on Sunday. So I reckon we lose another 4. Maybe we end up on 16, 17 losses this season.
16, 17 losses. I'm just going to go and look at Tottenham league finishes. Here we go. We are going to have some injuries coming back soon, which helps us a bit. Yeah, until the next ones go out. You watch the moment some of the injuries come back, people like Kulu and Porro are just going to break down, aren't they? I'm looking at the last time Spurs lost 16 games in a season. So 1 second. So it'd be the 4th column. So the last time we lost 12 last season, 14 the season before. I'm just trying to see when the last time we lost that many games was. We lost 15 in 08-09, which was the season that Harry Redknapp joined us halfway through and rescued us. 19 defeats in the 03-04 season. 19 defeats. We're 6 defeats away from that. Let's see what happens in the rest of the season. Big up for that. I think that was Artis who asked that question. So big up to you. At Op5607, love these names, said, do you guys think that the United end result will have an effect on the protest? E.g., we win equals less numbers. Now, isn't the protest before the game?
Yeah, it is. So the answer to that question is no. It might affect the sit-in, because apparently there's a sit-in stage where people are going to stay in the terraces when they want to kick us out, and we're going to stage a protest in the terraces afterwards. It might affect that.
Yeah.
But you know what, Savva? This is so Change for Tottenham are on my channel tomorrow night. And one of the questions I'm going to ask him is, what happens if Spurs go on a winning run now? What's the plan then? Because these are the challenges we faced as the Levy Enoch Outlock protesting. A couple of wins, and then from 70, 80 protesters, we're back down to 30, 40. You know, people very quickly feel bad to protest when Spurs are winning, and they forget the bigger picture. So maybe it will affect the sit-in, but I don't know, Savva. There's a lot of disgruntled fans this time round. There's a lot of fans that truly have had enough. I think this season's pushed everyone. We thought Conte took us to the brink. I mean, and just taken us to the edge of just wanting to not watch football again. To watch the sport.
I agree with you. For the people asking, Mark, there were 21 defeats in the year that we got relegated, which was 1977. However, that was in a era where there were 42 games a season, not 38. So of the 42, if my maths still serves me right, I believe that 21 is slap bang in the middle, 50% loss rate that season. Next question is from...
Savva, also back then, you only got 2 points for a win.
Yes.
So
yeah.
A win now is much more. It's more significant.
The last of the questions on the actual post. This is a good one. This is from Glenn Hoddle 11. Hi, Glenn. Do your boots still work? Could you come and play for us? It said, hi, guys. Can I have your honest opinion on our 12.5 million new goalkeeper signing? I think he's cost us about 4 games already. Arsenal, Leicester, Liverpool, Villa, and looks inferior to the existing keepers, Forster, Austin, and Keeley. Seems like an utter waste of money to me, and the manager is self-sabotaging by selecting him. Stel, interesting one. Kinski, very interesting baptism of fire in his first couple of months at Tottenham.
Yeah, like when we signed him, I said, why are we doing this? We've got Brandon Austin at the club. He's a perfectly good goalkeeper. Why isn't he being given a chance? He's been developed by the academy. He played for England under 18s and was it under 21s, and he was good. And when I spoke to coaches in the club about him a few years ago, they all said, yeah, really good goalkeeper. You know, he should be the next one in line to step up into the boots. So it didn't make sense to sign Kinski when we had someone already there. But I don't get what we're doing with the youth at all, if I'm honest, Savva. I've said it. I've said all this year, there's no project youth. It's absolute bollocks. And you saw it, you know. We played 2 games in a row. We lost to Liverpool, lost to Villa. Where was the youth? But yeah, everyone said they're amazing because they scored all the goals against Effersborg. There's no project youth for this club. It's a myth. It's an absolute myth. And you've got Brandon Austin, who's come through the ranks, who is a good goalkeeper. Give him a chance. But instead, we went and spent £12 million on Kinski instead. Maybe that money could have gone towards signing a better outfield player. So, I mean, trying to make sense of what Spurs are doing in the transfer window it's like trying to do a Rubik's Cube, which I never was able to do. Maybe some of you can do a Rubik's Cube. I wasn't good at it, but...
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, I'll be honest. I've been really underwhelmed with Kinski. Listen, I think he's made some fabulous saves, which I truly believe goalkeepers at this level should be making. But I'm not judging goalkeepers. I don't judge goalkeepers on the Hollywood saves. I judge them on their every game play. So, for example, a goalkeeper who I think is really good, but I will call him out. Look at Ederson last night. Look at the pressure he put his team under and concede. You're beating Real Madrid 2-1, and then you play that really silly ball out, put your team under pressure. And Kinski, for me, is terrible with his feet. He's absolutely terrible with his feet. I think his shot stopping, he keeps parrying the ball into open play. He keeps parrying the ball into the 6-yard box. And if you've worked with any good goalkeeping coaches, they'll tell you the one thing not to do. You don't parry the ball into the 6-yard box. You parry it to the right. You parry it to the left. For me, listen, he's young. I'm not going to get on his back at all. But again, I think we've gone really early with our kind of, oh my God, he's better than what we've got. And look, we'll see. We'll see. I think that Vicario is going to come straight back in. And listen, this guy's going to have to earn his place for me. He's young. He's still got time to grow. But I haven't seen anything that makes me go, oh my God, this is the next Peter Cech, as people were calling him. But he's still young. Still, the last question. Sorry, there was one more in my YouTube comments. It was from Huddersfield Town. I can't speak. What is wrong with me? Huddersfield.
Big up to Huddersfield Town, by the way. Big up.
Big up to him. Big up to him. Yeah, I've got it. It's coming. It's coming right now, my friend. It says, when do you think? Oh God. When do you think?
Savva's having a mare. He's having an absolute mare.
No, I'm not. I'm just laughing at the question because I don't look at them before I read them. When do you think Ange will get sacked? And who do you see as a long-term replacement to have a bigger chance of success at your club? Shall I go first? Look, let me go first. I'll tell you what. Look, I've given up Huddersfield Fan TV of trying to decide when this manager's going to get sacked. I've given up because half our fan base just don't care, right? They just don't care. I've never seen a manager have so much backing for being so bad at everything. However, to answer your question, there are multiple managers I want. If I keep it Premier League so that it's all managers that everyone's heard of, I'd take Glasner from Palace gladfully. I'd take Iriola from Bournemouth gladfully. I'll take Silva gladfully. Yeah, I'd take Thomas Frank gladfully. I just want somebody that doesn't make a fool of our football club in press conferences. I don't want a manager that puts the media off Tottenham and makes us a laughing stock. So for me, I'd take any of them. Again, you've got a foreign-wise, you've got, in terms of coming from abroad, Terzic is an obvious one. You've got people like Palladino of Fiorentina, I think would be a really good one. I think that I never get this guy's name right. The Stuttgart manager, is it Grobner? I can't remember his name. I think he's done a brilliant job as well. I mean, Stel, anything else to add on to that?
I don't think Ange is getting sacked at all, man. I think he's here. I think we're stuck with him. I think Levy's made his bed. And do you know what? He'll probably get sacked when we least expect it. Out of the blue, he'll just get sacked. And we're like, oh, now you sack him? That was weird. He'll do something like that. He'll probably get sacked. We'll be doing like breaking news, emergency podcast. Ange is gone after we beat Man United 3-0. Something doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I completely agree.
But I'm done predicting it. I'm done predicting it. We've as I said in January, get rid of him now and save the season. We still got some cup competitions. Just bring in a serious manager and just try and save the season. But no, give him the cups. He's crashed out of them, and now the delusional massive think he's going to win the Europa Cup. He's not winning shit. The one I want is Iriola. I've said it many a time. He plays with fullbacks that overlap. He knows how to be pragmatic and counter-attacking at the same time, be on the front foot, possession-based. He plays a 4-3-3, which is what we play, but he can also play a 4-2-3-1 and adapt it. He plays with a 6. Sometimes he plays a double pivot. And the best season Solanke ever had was playing for Bournemouth under Iriola. So for me, I just think there's a lot of ticks that make sense. He's got Premier League experience. He's proving that he can punch above his weight in this league. He's doing it with lots of injuries, something that we make up as an excuse at our club. And he's got, I think, he's playing with 4 or 5 players who are under 21s. You know, everything you look at.
They're 2 centre-halves at the moment, Stel. They're 2 centre-halves at the moment. One's 21 and one's 19.
Yeah. The 19-year-old scored against us. He scored against us.
Yeah. That's youth, right? That's you. So listen, I'll make you bang on. For me, he'd be my first choice. But look, there's loads of. I've said this before. I'm sorry. I'll quote box office. We've got to have a coach. It's got to be a coach. It can't just be a man. It's got to be someone that can come in and upskill these players. Let me go to the questions now that are in the chat. Let's start this. I've got about 22 of them, so I don't really need too many more. But if I do see any good ones, I will get them. Let's have a look. The first one I will say is this. This one makes me laugh. Rob Hotspur. I think this was a little dig at me, actually. By the way, before I read this out, please smash the like button. Please subscribe as well. I'm 12 away from 16.6k. Stel, they're chasing down the 40k. So please smash that button. Is Frank joining me? Frank's joining me because mummy's going to the gym. Okay, not my mummy, his mummy. That sounds weird. I'm just going to shut up. So Rob Hotspur has said, Savva, do you actually think anyone on our squad is good enough for Tottenham? The only player you seem to praise is Maddison, a player who can't actually get in the England squad. Right. So, Rob, if you listen to anything I say, I think the Spurs should be 5th, 6th in this table with a better manager. So what does that tell you about what I think of the players? Do I think we've got the world's best players? No. Do I think we've got players that are better than 14th in the table? Absolutely. The only player I praise is Maddison. That's not true at all. Him not getting a game in the England squad, I shouldn't think determines whether or not James Maddison's a good footballer. Jack Grealish has hardly had any games for England. And you look at Jack Grealish, he's been playing for Man City for 4 or 5 years. Phil Foden has to fight to get in the England team, and he won Player of the Year last year. Countless players that don't get an opportunity in the England setup. But listen, I've said before, here you go. I'll say this before, Rob Hotspur. You put this 11 out, I'm happy. Vicario, a back three of Van der Ven, Romero and Danso. If you've got wing backs of Jed Spence and Pedro Porro. And then I want a midfield 2 of Bentancur and Basuma with James Maddison and Kulusevski in behind Solanke. I think if you do that, you've got 2 playmakers in there. You've got 2 wing backs that offer you width. You've got 3 centre halves that mean you don't need as much protection at the back. And you've got Solanke up front actually getting crosses whipped in from wing backs. So when you're saying I don't rate anyone, not strictly true. Stel?
It's hard to tell because I've yet to see these players playing a system that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed.
Everyone just goes into the middle. Like with 8 midfielders, yet there's always a gap in the middle. It's amazing. I want to judge Porro, and I want to judge Udogie, and I want to judge Spence when we play with overlapping fullbacks, not inverted fullbacks. I want to judge our centre-backs when they're not always on the halfway line. Like, Van der Ven and Romero get a lot of criticism, especially Romero, but I'd like to see them not playing on the halfway line all the time. I'd like to see Maddison playing consistently week in, week out as a 10, where not everyone's invading the space he operates in. I want to see us play with actual wide attackers, not Werner and Johnson. I'd like to see Johnson maybe in the middle like he was when he was at Forest with 2 strikers instead of 1. So it's hard to judge players when I don't believe in the system, when I don't believe in what we're trying to do. So what players was the question? Who do I think we would keep? I think half the squad I'd keep, and the other half I don't think should be at the club. I just Richarlison for me is absolute shite. Werner, if you don't know what I think about Werner, then you've not been watching YouTube for about a year. Johnson, I don't think he's a good footballer. Yeah, he gets goals, but I don't think he's a good footballer. In terms of midfield, I think Pape Sarr's overrated. I think Bentancur's injury prone. I think Maddison. I think Basuma gets a lot of flack, but my only issue with Basuma is he switches off too often. He switches off when the pressure isn't there for him to switch off. So it's so hard to judge our players. It's really hard to judge our players.
Agreed. I'd love to see some of these players though in a sensible formation, in a sensible tactic. As my mate Ben says, as Ben K says, stop reinventing the wheel. Let's see what happens when Basuma plays central midfield as a box-to-box rather than a DM, which he is not. Look, thank you. I really like that question. We've got 25. I'm going to rattle through these, see how many we can get out. I know we've got time, but just before I do that, let me get some super chats. Big up to DCC, who's putting a super sticker. I think this was the Deep Clean Collective, the Deep Clean Concierge. I can't see the last word.
Deep Clean Cornwall.
I don't know. What does it say, DCC? Deep Clean something. Big up to you. Thank you very much for that. And then
Deep Clean Cornwall.
Also, we have got a super chat from Blaine Dev, always very generous. Has said, I can cope with Levy staying, but only if he has zero to do with the footballing side of the club. Let him play real life Monopoly and sponsors, etc. I just can't see that. Blaine Dev, I agree with you, but I can't see that ever happening. If Levy stays, he is on that football side. I don't care what anyone says. He can't not. It's in his DNA. He can't stop it. But Blaine Dev, you're very generous. Thank you.
Daniel Levy's a narcissist. It's impossible for him not to interfere and meddle. It's just not going to happen, is it?
Yeah.
I thought the whole point of Scott Munn and Lange and Paratici was to take over the footballing side, yet Daniel Levy's on a private jet flying out to Bayern Munich. Daniel Levy's in charge of whether Ange stays or goes. And, so all the things we were told, or, what some of you believe, not me, about, look, he's relinquishing responsibility and he's handing over the football side to these people. No, he's not. He signed a bunch of puppets that do as he says.
No,
and he's going to change. He's going to change his ways because new owners come in. Surely Levy will still own like 25 or 30% of the business.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't he own 30% at the moment?
He owns 30% of Enoch.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he does.
Yeah. By the way, sorry.
6%, 90% of the business.
Huddersfield Town Fan TV. If you want to become a member, I've just put in the link. Have a look for my comment in the chat, and the last word is membership. It's a link with the word membership. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Listen, let's get to another question. By the way, smash those likes, people. Come on, really tight with the likes and subscribers in today's show. So come on, let's get that hit. There's 460 of you in here, only 120 likes. Let's smash that button. Just over 1 in 4 at the moment. Next question. Marios has said, would you take Kieran McKenna of Ipswich?
No.
Why?
What's he done? What's he done to deserve being the manager of Spurs when there's so many other proven managers out there? You've got the Fulham manager, the Bournemouth manager. You've got the ex-Dortmund manager. There's managers in world football that are more proven. Why would we go for Kieran McKenna? Is it because he used to be at Spurs? We're mentioning his name because if that's the case, that's further reason why I don't want him here. I don't want anything to do with the club. Anything that's ever touched it, just keep it away. We need a complete.
Can we look at this a different way then? Could we look at this a different way and say, really exciting prospect in the management world, done a really good job so far. Let's see what he does the next 3-4 years as a manager.
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
Yeah.
I get the sentiment, right? I get the sentiment. I mean, listen, he's done an absolutely fantastic job. And I don't think a lot of managers get the respect for what they do lower down. He's taken them out of League One into the Championship, and then the very next season taking them from the Championship into the Premier League. That's brilliant. But we've seen this before. The question is going to be, can he consistently do these things? Or is it going to be that they get relegated and then they fade away and then we don't hear from McKenna again? I'm not saying that will happen, but I think it's one to watch, Marios, for me. Definitely one to watch. But right now, should we, with a £1 billion stadium, be hiring in managers that have had 1 year in the Premier League and before that were in the lower levels? I'm not so sure. Not for me. By the way, Lubo has messaged me. You know, I just gave an example of an 11 I would play.
Yeah.
Lubo's messaged me saying, you need Gray instead of Basuma in midfield with Bentancur. He just can't get over it, can he? He cannot get over Archie Gray. The reason I didn't, Lubo, I've not seen Archie Gray play in midfield. How can I possibly put him in there when I haven't seen it? Big up to that. John Lee, as it's Savva and Stel. Big up for the super chat, first and foremost, John. The Savva and Stel, rumours is selling Son in the summer. What is your opinion? I absolutely think they're selling Son, hence triggering his contract, the contract extension, because why let a player go for free when you can make some money out of him in the summer? That's only my opinion. Still,
we should have sold him earlier on. He's not the Son that once was. Not in this Ange team. He's not. Maybe in another team in a different formation, he can rediscover himself. But the way we play and what we need, Son just isn't that player anymore, sadly, because he was so good for us. But all good things come to an end. So if he goes in the summer, I think that's a good move.
No, I completely agree. Big up to John Lee. Thank you very much, John. Another super chat here from David Blair. By the way, the super chats do supersede normal comments for obvious reasons. David has said, put the players in a sensible system and in their correct positions. I don't want my centre-backs as midfielders. David, I can't agree more, not because you've played. Football is not a complicated game. It's never been a complicated game. And we have a manager, I feel, that is really trying to overcomplicate it. Let's let our centre-backs be centre-backs. Let the fullbacks be fullbacks. Let James Maddison play make. And let the midfielders midfield. I agree. And what I don't want, David, I don't want any more of this. Could we see Romero in a number 6? No. If you want a number 6, go and bloody buy one. Stel, how do you feel about his comment?
He says, I don't want my centre-backs as midfielders. You can say the same for the wing-backs. You can say the same for... you can say the same for the striker who drops into midfield all the time. You can say the same for everyone. Like, everyone's a midfielder at Spurs. No one's an actual winger. No one's an out-and-out striker. No one just plays at the back. You know, you can say that for everyone. I agree with sensible system, 100%.
I agree, David. Look, I just want to stop seeing everybody doing something other than what they're meant to be doing. That would be brilliant for me. Our central midfielders always seem to be out wide. Let me just quickly show you what I mean. Thank you, David, for that. I mean, our central midfielders, you could take this screenshot from any game. Why are Bergvall and Bentancur both over to the right-hand side of the pitch? You left the door open and he ran out. Want to bring him back? Sorry, just sorting out Frank. Yeah, look, why are we the only club where our central midfielders are playing right wing and just inside of the right winger? I agree with David completely. The next question, my man, Spiky T, DJ Spiky T out there entertaining the Australian crowds with his vibes. How you doing, brother? I hope you are well. I said, do you think it's fair on Austin that Kinski comes straight in ahead of Austin? Well, look, we kind of talked about this earlier. I don't understand why in this window, this was the player we went and got when we had Austin, who for me hasn't done anything wrong when he's played. But it must tell you that they don't rate him. They clearly don't rate Austin. But yeah, we talked about this still, didn't we? We did talk about this.
The thing is, I'm just checking now. Yeah, so Brandon Austin just signed a new contract until 2029 with Spurs. I don't get it. I don't get it. If I was Brandon Austin, I'd put in a transfer request. I don't know. If you're Austin, why are you still here? The day we signed Kinski, I would have said, get me out. Get me out in the same window. There's no point in me being at this club. But he seems happy to stay here. It's odd. So the whole thing is odd. Nothing makes sense. Spurs are happy to keep him for another 5 years, but they sign a new goalie. And yet Austin's happy with that. None of it makes sense. It's like Cameron Carter's Vickers. You know, I never understood why he just never left and went and signed properly for another club. Why he was always on loan deals. It wasn't until later on in his career he left. I feel Austin's going down the same road, and I don't understand that. As a player, you want to be playing. Surely he wants to play regular football.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, big up Nige, who wasn't a question, but he's one of my boys, said everyone is a midfielder. Yeah, our midfield is always empty. It's mad.
That's what I said earlier. That's what I said earlier. We play with 8 midfielders and there's always a gap in the middle.
We go to Anfield and play 3 non-attacking midfielders and still they just flood through our midfield. It's utterly crazy. Big up to you. Let's get Huddersfield Town Fan TV has become a member. Thank you very much. From next week, I will have a member-only show every 3 weeks. I think if you do them every week, it gets a little bit too much. But I'll be having some channel member-only shows to say thank you to my members. So thank you very much. And thank you. We're only 9 subscribers away now from 16.6K. So we're moving along nicely in that direction. Big up to you. Here's an interesting one. This word always gets a little bit of airtime. Windrider has said, Savva Stel, how do you guys feel about a possible Poch return in the summer? It's been going crazy this week, hasn't it, Stel, with Pochettino talk, and I don't believe it. What are you feeling about this?
Well, fans were singing his name in the away end at Aston Villa. They were singing Mauricio Pochettino's name, which... When's the last time you heard Spurs fans singing Pochettino's name in the terraces? I'll be honest with everyone on this one. Do you know what? I've never understood why we say that. I'll be honest. That means you lie all the other times, right? I've been lying to you all these times, but this once, I'll be honest.
I'll be honest this time. Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Trust me. That's another thing human beings say, isn't it? Trust me. So what if I don't start a sentence with trust me? Do you not?
Honestly, I've been lying for 4 years. I don't want Poch back. I don't want. I'll tell you why. Whilst Daniel Levy's chairman, I never want Pochettino back at this club because I don't think Poch can replicate what he did again with Levy as the chairman. Poch had prime Kane and prime Son that he helped develop. I think Poch would be good for players like Udogie, Spence, Van der Vens. I think he'll get a better tune out of the midfield. So I think there's certain things that Poch would do really well. But I just think Levy will throw him under a bus again. And if there's one manager I don't want to see crucified again is Poch. Like, I never want to see that happen again because I wanted him. I felt he wasn't fully backed. He made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. He made mistakes. I don't think he was ever fully backed. I think most Spurs fans would agree with that. I would only want Poch back if he gets the full backing on his terms and Levy has no say whatsoever. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. So, like, you look at our wage bill. We can't attract the caliber of players we need because we refuse to pay the wages. Why would you want Poch back? Poch would make us a top 4 team again, but that's it. That's it. If Iraola comes in, I don't think he wins a trophy, but I think he just does a lot better than what we're seeing. I don't think any manager will succeed at Spurs. Top 4 is the best we'll get. So bringing Poch back with Levy for me, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. If Levy fucked off, I'd love Poch back tomorrow. I'd have him back tomorrow if Levy was gone. That's my view. I've got a feeling Savva's got a different take on Poch, though.
No. Look, I was one of the people that when Poch went, I thought it was the right time. I felt like he'd been here a long time. I thought the methods was slowly going downhill. Players had lost belief. There was problems with transfer windows. He'd started to flirt with Real Madrid before a Champions League. It felt like the right time. I think and I've always said I don't want him back. I think now I'm open to him coming back still, purely because I just cannot watch Ange Postecoglou.
It's so bad.
Yeah. But you're so right. Listen, I truly believe with this squad of players, Pochettino would have us looking like a well-oiled unit. Now, does that mean I think we'll be top 4 and we're winning trophies? I'm not sure. But I do think he'd have us resembling a football team. I don't believe we'd be 14th in the table. I don't believe as many of these players would have been run into the ground. And I do believe that he would have us set up with a proper midfield, a proper back four, and we would attack properly. So for me, I would take him for that reason, but I do agree. I don't want him to come back, and I do and I don't, but we're going to judge him against that first time. We're going to judge him against that first time, and that's going to be really, really difficult. Where are we? Come on. Oh, bless you. Come on. Sorry, 1 second. Come on. Sorry. Come on. Come see me. He's going to jump in. Let's do it. Right. He's going to jump out.
I was going to say, Billy, in the chat, you're saying that Ange outperformed his expectations last season. He bottled both cups in the first round. He had no European football. He had 1 game a week, and he blew top 4. Ange last season showed us why he's not good enough at this level. And he didn't have as many injuries as what he's got now. So I don't understand about Ange overperformed last season. I thought Ange blew it. Do you forget the last 10 games of the season where we went from favourites to get top 4 to completely missing out? The last 10 games of last season were horrendous, absolutely shocking. So I disagree. I don't think Ange outperformed last season. I think he's lucky that fans were giving him a free pass, because if that was Mourinho, he would have got sacked for that. I'm just saying, he would have got sacked for that. So, but everyone's allowed their opinion. Everyone's allowed their view.
Yeah, completely agree. Sorry about that. It's just when one of us goes out, the other one's got to be with Frank for obvious reasons. Big up to you, Search Surfer. Not good news, I'm afraid. Not good news. So, but thank you for asking. I do appreciate it. Let's have a look at the next question, shall we? Who we got? Got loads of questions here. Blame Dev said, what's the thoughts on the supposed links Paratici is working with Inzaghi in the summer? Personally, it's a no. It's another hot-headed, but there will be a man before Poch returns. Thoughts? Can I just say, I'll say in one sentence and pass to you, Stel. If Inzaghi is available, I'm taking Inzaghi all day long. Problem's going to be is if it's still Daniel Levy as the chairman, are we just going in for a repeat of Conte, Jose, etc.? I'm not saying he's on their level, but he is a winning manager. He's done good things in football. I don't know. What do you make of it, Stel?
I don't want Inzaghi. It'll be a disaster. There's no point bringing in renowned managers to this club, because they will literally tell Daniel Levy to go fuck himself, and Levy will just sack them, or there'll be a bust up and then we'll end up falling off a cliff again. There's no point us bringing in anyone like a Conte, Mourinho, and Inzaghi and Ancelotti, or any names that the world knows in football. There's no point bringing them to Spurs whilst Levy is here, because Levy's ego is too big. He can't handle someone smarter than him telling him what to do about football. He can't handle it. He can't handle how to be told how to run his football club. He can't handle these things. He thinks... Don't forget, this is a chairman who, when asked, what's your 3 biggest achievements at Spurs, winning the Carabao Cup was not in his top achievements. Exactly. So this is a chairman that's told the fans, I don't look at trophies as big achievements. So what's the point of bringing in managers who their sole aim is to win trophies? That is what they're about. It's not going to work, is it? It doesn't align. We're better off bringing in the Iriolas, the Poches, the Silvers, these caliber of managers who are what, people coin project managers, although I hate that term, but they're going to work within a certain criteria, squeeze as much juice as they can out of it, and just make us a top 4 team. That's the best. We will never be more than a top 4 team under Levy. That's the limit of where we'll be, unfortunately. Maybe with a bit of fortune, we can win a Carabao Cup, because we've done that in the past. We did do it in 2008. So that's it. I don't. Inzaghi for me will just Savva. It will all be good vibes, happy, party, yay, and then 6 or 12 months down the line, you know what's going to happen.
It needs. It needs, and this is the thing. This is the thing for me. When Poch came in at the time, it was a manager that some saw as a bit of a punt from Southampton. It was someone who'd done some quite good things in Spain. When I say quite good things, I'm not talking about managing a Barca or Madrid, but he'd done a good job in Spain. Came and done a really good job for Southampton. And then we got him, and it was a coach. It was somebody who came in, coached and made us better and stayed for a few years. If you're going to have a manager for 5-6 years, they've got to be a coach. It's got to be someone that will say, right, your budget is X amount. And they go, that's fine. I can coach players better. I can make players better. It's got to be, from in my humble opinion. Big up. Listen, sorry, everyone keeps asking. Listen, big up, Smithy. Look, unfortunately, for anyone that hasn't, unfortunately, Frank has only been given 3 to 6 months left to live. So thank you for all your well wishes. Unfortunately, he has got a tumor in his spleen, and it has spread to his liver. So we can't even operate to remove his spleen. It's too late. So at the moment, he's not in any pain. I'm not being a horrible person. First thing I said to the vets, is he in pain? Is it cruel to keep him alive? They said no, but he will probably pass one day in his sleep. So that's my emotional baggage that I'm going to have to deal with. But thank you very much for everyone that has been asking, and it's bloody horrible. Let's go to the next question, shall we? Hang on, I saw one that I thought was quite funny. Finn, big up, Finn. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Has there ever been a dull day at Spurs? Only match days when we play. Only these tactics on match day for me. But it's never, on a serious note, though, it's never dull at Tottenham, is it? We're always in the news for something, and it's never winning. We're in the news for our owner, for NFL, for concerts, for managers blowing up, players slagging us off, ex-pundits. It's never dull, is it?
We're the most talked about club that achieves nothing. We've got the most famous chairman who's achieved nothing. It's unreal. It's unreal. The only time I find it dull is the post-match interviews after a loss when Ange says, "I thought we played quite well." I mean, I'm just, I thought we did. We were in the game. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Oliver, absolutely. Do you know what? That's the way I've said it lately, my friend. I just want a normal manager, just a normal manager. I want a manager that when I see, do you know what? When I'm watching, when I'm doing bits of admin and working and stuff, I've got Sky Sports News on in the background. When I see Ange come on the TV, I just go, oh, I don't. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I don't care. I want a manager that I want to go, oh, hang on. Poch is on the TV, or Harry Redknapp's on the TV. I want to listen to what they've got to say. And I feel like a normal manager. This is what I like about you. You watch Glasner, Frank, Iriola, in their press conferences and their interviews, there's no theatrics, there's no drama. It's very honest about the clubs, about their performances. I agree with you. I agree with you. The next one, the next question is this. I'm not going to answer that and that. Sorry. I'm not going to answer that either. Rob Welsh Spur said, if you could merge 3 players together to make your ultimate player, what 3 players are you merging? I've got an answer unless you want to go first.
You go. I need to think about this one.
I don't need 3 players. Lionel Messi existed. Lionel Messi exists. I don't need to merge anything from anybody else. He's the greatest, most complete footballer I've ever seen in the history of football. So I'm just going to take Messi. But to answer your question, because you took the time to put it in, I would probably take Gareth Bale's left foot, David Ginola's skill, and the power of Moussa Dembele, just to keep it on Spurs theme.
Do you know what? I'll just pick 3 Spurs players from recent years. I'd like to see a merger of Berbatov, Modric, and Bale. That'd be a good player. That'd be someone with electrifying pace down the wing with the left foot, a maestro midfield that can cut teams open, and someone that can finish it all off, all in one. That'd be Modi Bale Atov. Modi Bailatov. There you go, Modi Bailatov.
With whose hair would they have? Which one of those players' hair would they have?
We've got to make them look good.
Got to be Modric's locks, and it's got to be those long flowing locks. Let's
give them They've got to give him Ginola's hair.
Oh God, I love that man. I love that man so much. Big up, Swanex. How you doing, brother? I hope you're well. I said, have you watched Also Spurs Premier League coach breakdown of Spurs tactics? It was a good insight into Ange Postecoglou's tactics and points lack of know-how and quality. Insightful. Now, before I answer this question, I will just say that I am live next Friday lunchtime with Jim from Also Spurs. Big up to him, big up to his channel. I have seen this. It was very interesting. What I would say is it's not just that, Stel. I think there's a lot of coaches now out there that are, and pundits that are breaking down these tactics and why they don't work. And you know, that's the worrying thing for me is so many people are now saying just how flawed these tactics are over and over again.
When it comes to coaching and tactics, I find it frustrating watching these kinds of shows because they're all saying it now. Where were they saying it 4, 5, 6 months ago when people like me were saying it? When I was giving you these coaching breakdowns last season, people don't want to listen. But now someone pops up and says it, not just this guy, many others. They're saying it now because it doesn't work. I was saying it when it was working. I question, you know, people's credibility. I think they're just copying and pasting other people. Say it before the wheels come flying off. It's easy to say that's not working. Say it before it all goes wrong, you know, and then maybe I'll entertain it a bit more. It's not me criticizing anyone. I'm just saying a lot of what I hear, I said 6 months to a year ago. I'm just pointing it out to people.
I mean, listen, Swanex, thank you very much.
I'll give you a good example, right? I explained the importance of playing a high line without a 6 is dangerous, and playing a high line when pushing both fullbacks up doesn't work. And I gave an example of how Pochettino would go into a triangle. So if both wing backs went up, the back two squeezed, and then the 6 sat in front almost as a triangle. And if there was a counter attack, the 6 would go across, break up the play, and the 2 would shuffle over slightly. And that way you almost went into a back 3 that curved, but it protected splitting the back line. And I explained these things. But everyone was like, oh, shut up, we're winning. Look at the football. I'm like, all right. Now the wheels come off. It's a case of, oh, but did you hear what that coach said? Did you hear what? For me, Savva, it's just, it's all too convenient now. It's like, you know, everyone, you know, it's all a little bit. I just think everyone's just copying each other now. I kind of get that feeling, taking nothing away from anyone, but that's the way it comes across to me.
Yeah, I think, look, first of all, Swanex, thank you so much for the super chat. And as I said, I'm looking forward to my chat with Jim next week. I think Jim and I both acknowledge that we've got very different opinions on Spurs, but I have entitled the show, and it will be advertised later, I have called it Same Club, Different Views, right? Because we do have very different views, but it's okay. We can have a conversation without everyone wanting to call each other out and go mad. What I would say is what infuriates me more than any of that, I think too many people are very, very quick to the moment we sign a player, they want to make videos as to why they're the perfect signing when they don't know a lot about the player and they've not seen the player play. And I think we've got to stop doing that. By the way, people can stream about what they want. Right? I'm not here. I'm not the police. People can stream what they want. But I think if we're going to make these videos that keep saying, you know, Bergval's brilliant for Ange because of X, Gray's brilliant because of this, Danso's brilliant because of this, Johnson because of this, you know, Odegaard this, when it doesn't quite work, I don't see people going back to those videos and going, hang on, I might have been a little bit overzealous here and it hasn't worked. I just think we need to sometimes let things play out a little bit. But hey, let's go to the chat. Let's go to, here we go. Matty K, big up, Matty. How are we doing? And Matty has started a brand new channel, which I will be going on soon. Sorry, Matt, I haven't responded to your WhatsApp. Sorry, I've had a lot going on, my man, the last 48 hours. It's been not a good time to ask me about going on shows. I promise you I will jump on your show. He said, when all three fullbacks are fit, who starts? So I'm guessing he's going with Spence, Porro, and Spence, Porro, and Udogie. Which two you starting still when all three are available?
What, left and right backs?
Yeah.
I think Spence is a better defender than Porro, but I think Porro is better going forward than Spence. So what do you do? What do you do? Like, if we're going to play Ange ball, then you've got to play Porro because Ange ball is more front-footed. It's not about defending. If we're going to play sensible football, then I'd play Spence. But it depends how you play. So if I'm Ange and I'm going to stick to the way I want to play, I'd play Porro and I'd play Udogie. But if it was my choice and how we play, I'd probably start Porro right back and Spence at left and drop Udogie.
I agree. I've not seen anything from Udogie in a year and a half that makes me think he's a good fullback. I think he's an athlete. I think he's a powerful lad. I think when I watched him play for Udinese in more of a left wing back role, getting up and down, I thought, okay, there's something there. He's another one. I'd be very interested to see some of these players with a proper coach. That's the only way I can answer it. But Matty, listen, all I know is I would be playing wing backs, as I said. So for me, I think it would be Spence and Porro who I would play. I think that Udogie for me has got a lot to prove. That's just my opinion. Big up to Gary Morton Barley. How you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Hope you got your internet and all that back now. Has said, question, is the Europa Ange's lifeline? Lose and he's gone. Gary, I think the difficult thing I have with answering any question about Ange Postecoglou is I've been hearing this for a year, right? I mean, last year it was, we had a terrible run-in last year, and I heard give him the first 10 games of this season. We had a terrible first 10 games of this season, and it was give him the League Cup. We've gone out the League Cup, and it was give him the FA Cup. We've gone out the FA Cup, and we're now giving the Europa League. If we play that game, I'm not saying you, I'm saying if we play that game, managers are never, ever going to go because there's always going to be the next milestone, right? I do think that is what's happening. I do think that that's his lifeline. I do think that we're leaving it so late in the season now that any Stel might disagree with me here. I do think that we've left any sort of salvation from a league perspective has gone. We were debating earlier this morning as to whether or not we were debating whether or not Spurs could finish 10th. That's how shit the season's been. We were all going, can he get 10th? No, he can't. Oh, he can. But he is absolutely miles off anything else. So, Stel, is it knocked out of Europa and he's gone? Because by the time we play next in Europa, if I'm not wrong, isn't that like mid-March, beginning of March? So by then, the season's nearly done.
I don't know what's going on with this Ange's lifeline because we were told judge him in the second season. It's been fucking shit. We were told, yeah, but look at the injuries. But Ange said he's happy with the squad he's got, knowing that he had 4 competitions to play in and the injuries are part of the game. Then you start getting Ange in versus Ange out divisions created. Then the Ange in section of the fan base says he deserves the cups. At least give him the cups. I think we can get something at Anfield. Don't forget, Stelios, we only need a draw. We don't have to win. I think we can get a 1-1 or 2-2. We go to Anfield and get absolutely taken the piss out of, and we didn't have a shot on target, humiliated at the highest level. Then 3 days later, we go to Aston Villa and the manager just leaves us wide open in midfield and waits 45 minutes before bringing on Basuma to plug the hole. And even then it didn't work because after 15, 20 minutes, we didn't score a goal and Villa got the second and it was over. So that was the lifeline. And now it's, let's kick the can down the road, give him the Europa. Right. All I'll say is this, Savva. I told everyone, re-signing Werner, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have a mediocre transfer window. This is the sign of things to come. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And Ange is accepting it. He's part of the problem. He's a yes man. Then the wheels come flying off. And I've spent a month telling everyone, I told you this back in July, that by accepting Werner, you're accepting mediocrity. Nothing will change. Now the wheels have come off. I'm just reminding everyone, this is what I told everyone would happen. And then in January, I said, get rid of him now. Just get him out the club and bring in a manager who plays a different football. Try and salvage the season. The league's gone. Forget the league. We're not going to get into Europe in the league. We're not going to finish in any significant position. But maybe we can sneak a Carabao Cup. Maybe we can go on the FA Cup run and who knows, get to a final. The Europa Cup is possible. But get a manager that can actually tactically navigate these games. We didn't. Okay. You can't now then talk about lifelines when he has cost us the cups and we're out of the cups now. And all the pressure, all the weight of all the players and the manager is on the Europa Cup. As if we handle pressure well, let's put more pressure on it.
Yeah.
It's bonkers.
You know what makes me laugh about it? Can I tell you what makes me laugh still about this whole...
They defend him, they kick the can down the road, and we're just supposed to sit here and go, okay. What, as a football fan, why must I be put through this? Why must I suffer because the Ange in cult has got this silly project in their head that constantly proves to fail? Why must I suffer? What did I do wrong to suffer from the Ange in lot?
Do you know the funny thing for me about this whole Europa League? Well, I heard I've got receipts, by the way. I don't really like receipts, but I do keep them because people forget what they've said. People forget what they've said to me or about me. By this, I'm not talking about other YouTubers. I'm talking about comments, by the way. I'm talking about comments. And the number of people that used to come on my show when he wins the League Cup, Savva's going to look stupid. Okay. When we win the FA Cup, Savva's going to look stupid. Okay. Now I'm getting, when we win the Europa League, you're going to have to apologize to Ange. The people who put these in my comments, I can see them and read them right. I keep them. I've got access to every show I've ever done. Every time you post, I click on your name and see all the comments that I've made, right? And what I don't understand about it is we haven't won in Europe for years with better teams and better managers. And I'm looking at it. I'm seeing people say things like, well, there's no one that worries me in Europe. And I'm like, do you watch any European football? Like, Lazio over 2 legs for me will tear us apart. Lazio at their ground, I think, will tear us a new one. Athletic Bilbao are flying. Athletic Bilbao are a brilliantly coached football team with dangerous players on that counter-attack. But don't worry, we're going to win it. And people say, well, we've beaten Man City in a game this year. We've beaten Villa. One-off games. Over 2 legs. Look what happened with that theory with Liverpool. Look what happened with that theory. They didn't get out of first gear still and put 4 past us, and it could have been 10.
Savva, you're talking about these teams that are good in Europe, right? I'll make it much easier than that. We're not beating Man United over 2 legs in Europe. In Europe, I bet you we don't beat them over 2 legs. I bet we'll probably beat them in the league on Sunday, but over 2 legs in Europe, I bet you Amorim will have Ange's number. I bet you he does.
No, mate, listen,
and they're shit.
Winning one-off games, completely different ball game to seeing. This is why Real Madrid are so good. One-off games. Madrid lose loads of one-off games. When you ask Real Madrid over 2 legs, how many 2-legged affairs do Real Madrid lose? Right? This is the difference. Anyone can beat anyone in one game. Over 2 legs, I just don't think we've got the tactical ability. Like, for example, could Spurs be tactically good enough to say, you know what, we're going to go away from home in a first leg, right? We're going to carve out a draw and then get a 1-0 win at home in the second leg. No, because we're so wide open. Over 2 legs, we will give one of these I'm not saying it will be the next round still. We might go through the next round, but at some point, you're going to play a big team, right? And if you give, let's say you give Bilbao 40 shots over 2 legs on our goal, they're scoring goals. They're scoring goals. So, look, I don't think we've got any chance of winning it. But still, I'll sit here right now, clip this. If we win the Europa League, I will turn around and go, Ange Postecoglou, I am sorry, starting a new 3-year contract. I just don't think I'm going to be in that position at the end of the season. I don't think he's good enough. If he does it, I'll be happy because I'm a Spurs fan. I want to win trophies. I wasn't wrong about the League Cup. I wasn't wrong about the FA Cup. I've not been wrong about the league. I've got no reason and no evidence still to suggest I'm going to be wrong about Europe. He's proved nothing.
He's not winning anything in Europe. He's not winning anything in Europe. I've said he wasn't going to win a trophy this year. I said we're going to go to Anfield, and as soon as that walk on, as soon as that song begins, we're going to just shit the bed, and we shat ourselves. I go on Tottenham away the Monday before the Thursday midweek game, and I said that was going to happen. Me and Iggy were arguing over it. Iggy said, "You've got to believe, have hope." I said, "No, I know what's going to happen," and it happened. And I said, we're not going to knock out Villa. We're going out the FA Cup. And I'm telling you, we are going to play one team in Europe when we least expect it. They're tactically going to do a number on us. And after the game, when the whistle's blown and we're knocked out of Europe, all the Spurs fans are going to go, what just happened? How did we blow that? And I'm going to sit there saying, guys, I've been telling you, this one manager and this one group of players, when we least expect it, are going to do a number on us. And you're all going to be sitting here going, how did that happen? It happened because Ange tactically isn't good enough. And it's going to happen. And if we do get to the final, because people are saying we can only get Man United in the final, we've never beaten Man United in the final. We've never beaten them in the final. Just like our record at Anfield is shocking, we've never beaten them in a final. And they've got a track record of winning trophies in final, even when they're shit. Ten Hag proved it. Even he got 2 trophies out of that crap Man United team. I do not want Man United in a final. I'd rather play Lazio, Galatasaray, who are better than Man United. I'd rather play them because Man United have got our numbers, have got our number in the final. I think we probably get to the quarters or semi-finals, and then you're going to see what's what. And when you do, please come here and give me your 472 apologies that you owe me, and you probably owe Savva about 361.
I don't want any. I
do.
Want to
I want them.
do you know why? I never want to apologize. As a human being, I am so comfortable with my own prediction on stuff. I am super comfortable with my analysis on football that because I don't say stupid shit, I never feel that I'm going to be too wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like at the beginning of the season, we've got people going, when he wins all 3 cups, and you're like, F off. We ain't winning 3 cups. And in 1 week, that's gone from, we're doing the quad, we're doing the treble. Now we've got 1 to play for. Right?
Listen, I had people last week, Aussie Dude, Ronnie, Billy's, all these people in the chat saying to me, when we win the Carabao Cup, Stel, I will be here. Just you wait. I will be here to remind you. Oh, really?
Do you know how many of them I've got? Do you know how many of them I've got filled up? Yeah.
And then you get told.
The one you sent me was brilliant. The one you sent me was brilliant. All these YouTubers are going to look stupid when we draw 2-2 and go through against Liverpool.
It's crazy, man. Like they just dismiss Liverpool and Anfield as if it's just this easy thing, and we're just going to rock up on in their backyard and school them. Like, what fucking planet do people think we're? You know, the year Spurs won the double, right in '61, we didn't beat Liverpool at Anfield, and that's the greatest Spurs team ever. And we still didn't beat Liverpool at fucking Anfield. But oh no, Ange, Archie Gray, and Pape Sarr, we're going to rock up there and we're going to school them. Oh yeah. It's delusional, man. And if you say these things, right? If you say these things, you get told, why can't you just support your club? Why can't you just support your team? Why can't I just be honest about what I think? And why can't I just be
I know.
honest about what I see? I'd rather be honest.
Honesty's gone. Honesty in football still is
You're
gone.
not allowed to say it as it is. You can't speak the truth, your truth. You might disagree with me, but if this is what I believe, it's what I believe. And it kind of happened, we kind of went there and got battered. We got battered by Liverpool.
Do you know the funny thing is, right? In any other walk of life, you can't just say crazy shit and then be told you're good for saying it. And what I mean is, I'm always told you're not a real fan, right? So I might say something like, listen, we're not winning anything this season. Just get behind I love that. Just get behind the team. Sure, that's the reason why they're not going to win a trophy is because Richard Savva on his YouTube channel said, I don't think we're winning anything, right? Now, can you imagine in my marriage, can you imagine if I adopted their philosophy of thinking to my marriage? Imagine everything I said to my wife was just loads of hot air, absolute lies, something I didn't believe. I'd be divorced within a month, right? Can you imagine if the wife comes to me and says, where are we going on the summer holiday this year? Right. And let's say I've got a budget of $5,000 for both of us. I don't know, making it up. Right. And I say, you know what? We're doing a 5-star all-inclusive for 2 weeks to Barbados. Really? Yeah. Yeah. I believe it. I believe it's happening. Then when we get to the airport and I go, sorry, love, I only had $5,000 between us. We're definitely not going to Barbados. Like in no other walk of life does lying and just being hopeful work. Like I need, as I've said, I'm sorry for the rant. I think people like the rants. I need to see evidence from this manager that shows me he's got what it takes to outwit top managers in massive games, right? Let alone over 2 legs. He's just shown me against Liverpool that he has got no idea how to protect a 1-0 lead. And then he showed me at half-time in the Liverpool game that he's got no way of saying to his team, right, guys, we're 45 minutes away from a penalty shootout or extra time. I'll tell you what we'll do. Yeah, we're going to be really difficult to beat. Nope. My manager, our manager, has turned around and gone, just keep letting Gravenberch, McAllister, Bradley, Gakpo, Nunes, whoever, just keep letting them run through the middle. And we've got half our fan base that just go, yeah, but when the players come back, what? When the players come back, suddenly these tactics are going to work. They haven't worked with the players. They're not working without the players. Don't worry. I'm a good fan because I say, yes, we're going to win. Well, and then what I do is I see people like this. I'm going to call you out again, saying things like going into other channels. I see you, Faz. I see you saying, oh, you're not like those other fake Spurs fan channels. I see you, Faz. I see the things you say about people like me and Stel.
I blocked Faz ages ago because he just goes around the other channels slagging me off. I'm like, whatever, man.
I saw him slagging you off earlier, but also saw him say something.
He's fake. He's fake. He's a fake fan.
And
he's fake.
I just sit there and I think to myself, how have we got to the stage where the people that have been correct about this football club are the fake fans? How have we got to the stage where me saying at the beginning of the season, stop this nonsense about challenging, stop this nonsense about finishing third, stop this nonsense about winning 2 trophies? How have we got to the stage where I'm fake for saying this? I'm fake for saying this, but the people that just say, believe, they're the positive fans. I don't get it.
Do you know? Get it. I'm gonna let everyone into a little secret. Okay, I'm gonna let everyone into a little secret. I get accused of so many things. It's unbelievable. I don't understand why I'm not in prison. Actually, I don't understand why the police haven't arrested me for multiple crimes. Okay,
I saw a good one about you today.
I see it every day. I see it right every day. I'm gonna let everyone into a little secret. I've been accused of all sorts regarding Tottenham away. Okay, Tottenham away has grown to what it is today for one reason and one reason only, guys. And I give you my word on this, right? Hand on my heart. And it's the secret to being a real football fan. Okay, ready for it? Ready? Just be honest with what you think about football. Okay, Forget the politics. Forget religion, forget ethnic backgrounds, forget this channel, that channel. When it comes to football, Just be honest with your opinion. And here's the thing. You dump it out there on the internet. Here's what I think. And it's for the public to decide. It's for the public to decide. And if they say, do you know what? I'll have a bit of that. They'll keep coming back and they'll keep coming back. And that's pretty much how it works. Football, I'm talking about now. And all I've ever done, Iggy, Maz, JP, Will, Mari, Lee, I'd say Savva, Mr. Box Office, Brian, many of us, Dan Hotspur Hood, we've just been honest with our footballing views. And that's it. And that's all you've got to do. And that's how you best support your club. Because here's the thing. If you're honest, you'll admit we're fucked under Levy. And guess what? We've won nothing with this guy. It's okay to say that because it's the truth. By brushing things under the carpet and saying, oh, I think all our youngsters are phenomenal and I think Angie's going to win us 4 trophies. And by saying all these things, you're not going to force those results to happen, people, just in case you think it will force. It won't force the results, right? It doesn't change anything. The results will be the results. Will either be proven wrong.
You know what I got this morning?
Just be honest with your opinions, and that's it. Savva, but this is the secret. That's how you be the best fan you can be, by being honest about
I'm always
your views. Yeah,
I'm always honest with my truth. And with my truth, I look at the results, I look at the evidence, and I look at what my eyes show me. Now, what I got this morning, and again, I'm going to make this very clear because this wasn't from YouTubers. This wasn't from another YouTube channel. This was from somebody in my comment section after my show this morning. I said, Savva, you are the problem with this football club. If you supported the team a bit more, don't you think it would help their confidence on the pitch? Now, what I love about this metric, right? This narrative, I love that if I was to just say, come on, Spurs, more than I do, right? Then apparently, if I was to do that still, this wouldn't happen, right? This wouldn't happen. If I was to do that more, this wouldn't happen, right? This wouldn't happen.
The results will be the results.
Absolutely mental that fans think that because YouTubers say something, it's going to happen. It is crazy. Look, let's get to some questions. I'll always be honest.
Do you know what I'd say about comments like that is this? Stel, Savva, whoever, if you would just get behind the team, maybe we'd get better results. There's 62,000 fans that go to the home game. They influence the atmosphere and they influence the backing of the team on a match day. I guarantee you none of the players on the pitch during a live game of football for Spurs at the same time are watching Savva's watch-alongs. I can guarantee you that they're not running around with their mobile phones. Oh, let me do the watch-along whilst playing a game of football and Savva's influencing me. I don't go to the games anymore. So
it's mad.
Maybe if we were in the terraces, there's an argument here, but we're not even at the games. So it makes no sense, man. It's just, it's clutching at straws.
Of course it is. Listen, just quickly, let's, before we get some more questions in, smash the like button. We've had only 2 new subscribers throughout this whole show. That's really bad. Let's smash that subscribe button and get to 16.6K. Subscribe to Stel as well. And on the likes front, how are we doing? 218. Come on, guys. We should be at least 300. So smash that button. Here we go. Dave O'Hanlon. Sorry, it's bloody hot in this room. Dave O'Hanlon. Do you know what? I bought a new light. I've now got 5 different lights shining on me. And I don't think people understand who don't YouTube. It is hot. I've got my computer screen, 5 lights, and the TV monitor going, and there's heat coming off that. I'm sweating. Savva Stel, big up to you, Dave, said, I can't make the protest Sunday as I'm on a holiday. You lucky thing. Is there anything I can do to show my support? Dave, I'll let you into a secret. I can't be there. I've got ankle ligament surgery on Friday. So I can't be in North London. I'm not allowed to be around and do anything for 4 to 6 weeks. I'm allowed to walk, but I'm not allowed to walk distances. So North London, I can't do it. So I'm not going to judge you for that. Stel, what can anybody do that's not physically there?
Promote the protest. Promote it. Promote people to go. Promote the fact that the protest exists, and that's all you can do. There's no more you can do. If you're on holiday, if you're injured, if you live far away, No one expects you to protest. So just promote it. Talk about it. Make it a conversation that is the conversation that everyone's talking about, rather than everyone saying yes, Spurs will be Man U this weekend. Make people think, you know what? There's a protest this weekend, isn't there? Let that be the conversation. That's all you can do.
By the way, no, I've not been. I've had that joke so many times. I'm not injured because of Ange Postecoglou. I've been waiting for a few years actually to get the date, and so I'm actually quite excited. My ankle looks like someone stuck a golf ball on the side of it. I've torn my ankle ligaments about 6 times throughout playing and coaching, and I just left it, and now it's got to the stage where I'm getting a bit older, and I need somebody to sort it out. So I've got an operation on Friday. There'll be no content from me Friday. There will be Saturday. I'll be back, but Friday I'm not here to give you any content. So hopefully I'll be able to get somebody to dial in from the protest when I'm live on Sunday, so we can see what's going on. That would be really great if anyone could do that. Let's have a look at some more questions.
I'll dial in. I'll dial in.
Yeah, cool.
I bought one of these. I bought one of these selfie sticks for the event. Actually, one of these. Don't know how it works, but I bought one of these so I can walk like that, holding it.
You're old if you don't know how a selfie stick works. That's exactly what my nephew told me about 3 weeks ago. I was like, "What do I do with this?" He went, "Oh, you're old."
I bought microphones and all sorts to I'm going all in, Savva. I'm going all in.
Look, you can dial in from there. I'll be doing a watch along. Dial in, and we can see what's going on. Big up to Chem, who knew my mum. He worked with my mum. That's crazy stuff. Big up to you, Chem, working with Mrs. Mummy Savva back in the day. Let's have a look. A big up, El Tel. Big up to you, my man. Hope you're well. Please go and subscribe to El Tel Cocorel. Hope you're doing well. Let's get to another question. Do you think that Matisse Tel will hit 10 goals? Now, I'm guessing that's 10 goals in all comps, right? He's got 1 in 2. He's got 14 league games and however many games in Europe to go. 10 is a big ask, isn't it?
I think it depends what happens when Solanke comes back, if Tel's dropped to the bench or if he gets pushed out wide. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him play. I need to see him play more. I don't know. So far, I've not seen anything to make me think, wow, or
no,
really good signing. But at the same time, I thought he took his goal quite well against Villa. So it's too early to tell, Savva. Also, I don't know if Spurs are going to improve. At the moment, we look shit every game. Like, we look really bad. Like, really bad.
Well, let's carry that on then. Let's carry it on. There's a couple of questions here about Man U. So let me get them all in together. So let me make sure. How many have I got? So we've got one here from Zico, who has said predictions on the result against United. Do you think the week's rest will play a big part in the result? And then Mark New has come on and said, if we get battered 3-0 by mid-table United, we're lower than mid-table as well. Will Daniel Levy pull the trigger and sack Ange on Monday morning? So will the rest? I'll go first on this one. Zico, for me, will the rest play a big part? I don't, mate. I'm not someone who buys into these excuses about the players always being tired. For me, I think the results are on the tactics. I've said this for well over a year now. I said this since November 2020. Stel and I don't know if he remembers this. Stel and I did a show the week of, 1 second, this week. It was this week. Here we go. It was, hang on. Let me see if I've still got it. Please don't tell me you've deleted it, Savva. It was this week. Stel, we did a show. So it would have been nearly a year and a half ago now. We did a show where we were talking about that decision. And I said to you from that moment, I said, I'm not even bothered that he's only lost 1 of 11. I can't get behind a manager that does this. And I have not changed my mind since. I see crazy stuff from this manager. And I just want a normal manager. So, look, do you think the week's rest makes a difference? And the dreaded question, if we get battered 3-0, which I don't think we will he get the sack on Monday morning?
Does a week make any difference? Not really, because Man United have got a week off as well. And will he get sacked if we get battered? No, I don't think he does. If I'm honest with you, I don't think he does. I don't think they're sacking him to the end of the season now. If we lose the next 4 games in the league, then maybe he will. Maybe it's just it gets to the point of where it's just untenable. But I've said that so many times, and then we lose 3 games and he's still here. So I've given up. I've given up predicting whether he stays. My honest answer is I don't know if he stays or goes. I don't think he will. The current optics looks like there's something stopping them from sacking him. There's an obstacle in the way that we don't know about.
But bang on. Listen, as I've said, half this fan base, they don't even care. We could lose. I'll caveat again. I think we win on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we could lose 3 or 4-0. He still has so many people backing him. I saw a poll done the other day from I can't even remember who did it. It was someone quite big on X. I can't remember who. And it was something like 15,000 people voted, and it was something like 68% were Ange in. And I thought to myself, no manager that's done this shit has ever had this backing. So what's another defeat? It just doesn't matter. We can lose. It doesn't matter.
Savva, I was you know Flav, the Fighting Cock podcast.
Yes.
Right. They did a podcast before the FA Cup. And on the podcast, they said, and they were all agreeing, I just hope we go out the FA Cup so we can focus on the Europa. When I heard that, right, and again, look, everyone's allowed their opinion. When I heard that, I said, so basically, what you're saying is we can go out the FA Cup and you don't want Ange sacked if we lose to Villa because now Ange can focus on the Europa. What are we doing here? Like, as a fan base, what are we? But again, look, fair play, they're allowed their view. But when I heard that, don't ever, ever, ever have a go at me again because I wanted us to lose to Man City last season. Don't you ever have a go at me again when you're saying lose the FA Cup game so we can try and win the Europa. Why can't we win both? Why can't we try and go for both? Savva, this is where the fan base is at. So when 68% say Ange in, I'm not surprised. They would happily watch us lose 5 games and still say, no, he's got to stay. He's got to stay.
As I've said, I'm giving up. Everyone knows my opinion on Ange. I'm giving up with my whole kind of rhetoric of, come on, let's get this guy out because it doesn't matter. We could lose. I'll say it again. We're going to win on Sunday, I think. We could lose 4-0 on Sunday and people will still go, Savva, you're so negative. About what? Listen, let's have a look at the Premier League table, right?
Do you know what happened? Savva, if we lose 4-0 on the weekend, I'm going to that game because it's the protest and there's a protest in the stadium afterwards. So if it's a protest, I'm turning up, right? If we were to get battered, which I don't think we are, by the way, Man United aren't good.
Agreed.
If we get battered, this is what will happen. They'll all sing Levy Out. They'll all sing the Pochettino song. And then at the final whistle, they'll all clap the players. They'll give them a round of applause. They'll be like, well done, lads. Well done. Good try. Well done.
Yeah.
That's what
I agree. I mean, look, if we look at the table, it's a big game. Man United win it. They go 5 points clear of us. If we win it, we go, depending on what Palace do this weekend, we could end the weekend. The highest we can end the weekend is in 11th. However, Everton, they're playing in, an hour? If Everton win tonight...
13 points off of Europe.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I didn't know it was that.
Yeah, we're 16 points off the top 4 and 13 points off the top 7.
We're not getting Europe for shit.
Yeah, it's absolutely madness. Look how bad we are.
Eighth is the best we can get, and we're not going to get 8th. Really, Savva, we're going to finish 9th or 10th at best, aren't we?
I don't think we finished 10th. I said earlier on, right? For us to finish 10th, right? Let's take Brighton, who are 10th at the moment still. For us to finish above them, right, we need to win 3 more games than they win in the last 14. So let's say, conservatively, right? Let's say Brighton So far, Brighton win 1 in every 3. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Like they've won 8 out of 24. They win 1 in every 3, which tells you that in the last 14 games, they're going to win. Quick maths, Savva, that is terrible maths. They win 1 in every 3. They're going to win what? 4 games? 4 to 5 games they're going to win, right? Let's say they win 4. Okay. If Brighton win 4 more games, and that puts them onto 46 points, right? Tottenham Hotspur need to win 7.
7 out of the last.
That's if Brighton fail to lose 10 of their next 14 games.
Yeah, and Brighton are 10th. So Fulham is going to be. Yeah, we're not getting Europe in the league. It's not happening.
No, we're not getting Europe in the. We'd have to go on a run of about 10 or 11 wins out of 14 to get Europe from the league.
To be honest, realistically, from Brighton upwards is where the European places will be. In fact, freaking hell, Brighton. Yeah, Brighton could do. Yeah, Brentford won't. So really, from Brighton upwards now, that's. They will be battling for the European places. Brentford won't get it. Palace won't get it. Man United, Spurs won't get it. Yeah, so really, if we don't win the Europa, that's it. There's no European football next year. And then there's no way they're going to give Ange money because there's no European football. In fact, they'll probably trim. There'll probably be more cutbacks. They'll probably have to trim more off the bottom line.
Mm.
Sorry, off the top.
I'll tell you what, Manny Man, if you watch Stel's show tomorrow night, he has got Jay on from Change for Tottenham. So watch that. If not, go over to Stel's page. I'm sure it's plastered everywhere on Stel's page. If I'm not wrong, Stel.
Join us tomorrow 8:30, Manny. If you've got questions for Jay, you can put them in the comments, and Jay will be able to answer them for you as well.
Absolutely. Sorry, just trying to see if there's so many channels now on sport channels that trying to find where a game is live is so difficult. Where are we? Let's get a few more questions. You're all right for 10 minutes still? You're good?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. By the way, as I was saying, Everton tonight, we're in a stage where we need Liverpool to beat Everton so that Everton don't kick us into 15th in the Premier League. That's how bad we are. Everton, who were one of the 3 favourites to get relegated this year, right? Either 3 or 4 could go above us tonight. That's how bad it's.
Yeah, I think. I think, however, that Liverpool loss to Plymouth, they're going to be fired up for tonight, Liverpool, because, in fact, it's almost a blessing in disguise. Liverpool went out of the FA Cup. Do you know why? Really, the league title is the one that they want. That's the one you really want. And more games in the FA Cup, it's congestion. Plus, they've got Europe. So I think personally, they've got their cup final. So they've got a chance to win a trophy. Arne Slot first season. They're in the cup final. The league title, now that Kai Havertz is out, the front line of Arsenal's on its knees. You've got to say Liverpool are hot favourites. No FA Cup games means less fixture congestion. So I think Liverpool now just focus on the Champions League and the Premier League. Don't worry about the FA Cup. It means they can go all out. They can go all out tonight. And I think they will. I think they'll beat Everton, Savva. I think, do
you not give this any credence? The last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison. It will be an amazing atmosphere, won't it? Let's be really honest. It will be an amazing atmosphere tonight.
And on the flip side, Liverpool, last game at Goodison, let's go out with a bang as well. I don't think it's going to be one of those 3-4 nillers. It'll be a 1-0, a 2-1, something like that.
Demetrius, I didn't say they were going to win. I'm just throwing out options. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not losing it. I'm saying it's going to be a bloody good atmosphere tonight. I'm hoping for a classic. I want like a 3-3 or a 4-3. I want. Listen, I think for the rest of the league, we need Everton to win to make it interesting. Because at the moment, the Premier League, for me, it's done. It's like, but if Liverpool were to lose that today, it just opens the door a tiny bit. But listen, normally I wouldn't give a shit still about a Merseyside derby. But if Everton win it tonight, they go above us. And that is shameful. Let's get to another question.
Savva, do you remember a couple of weeks ago, we were, hold on, sorry. Oh, what's this? 1 minute. you remember a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Nottingham Forest and you thought they might die off. And I said, I've got a feeling they might hang in there. They're still there, you know.
Mm.
They're still there, Forest. They're not going to win it, though. They are, what are they now? They're 9 points off the top and, you know, Liverpool got a game in hand. But do you think Forest, I know we're going off the subject a bit here, but do you think Forest are going to get top four? I think they are, you know. I think Forest are going to get top four. They're out the cups. They've got no Europe. Savva, they're out the cups. They've got no Europe. It's just literally...
No, they're in the FA Cup. They're in the FA Cup.
Oh, yeah, sorry. They're in the FA Cup.
Extra on penalties, didn't they?
Oh, other than the FA Cup, they've got no midweek games. The FA Cup's on the weekends. They've got no midweek games left. Do you think they'll get top four? I think they're going to get top four. You know, I think they will get top four.
I stream on a Monday night on my collective panel with Wolfie from Forest Fan TV, and he is unbearable this season. He is truly unbearable and he's made me create a fake rivalry with Nottingham Forest in my head to the point where I don't want them to win games. But on a serious note, I don't think they will. I think the last 14 games now, this is the business end of the season, right? This is where we see what a team's made of when tiredness really kicks in, when it really matters, when you have to go away from home and get a win to secure top four. I still think City will. I think City will. I think Chelsea will. And Newcastle are coming very, very strong. So I'm going to say no. But top five at the moment, I believe, gets Champions League. If I'm not wrong, I believe it's the top five at the moment due to coefficient points.
It's top five, yeah.
So, we'll see. We'll see. They'll be unbearable. They'll be.
Do you remember Spurs fans saying to us, "Yeah, but we don't need to get top four. Top five gets Champions League. So even if we get fifth, we'll get Champions League." Do you remember when they said that? We can't even get top 10. We can't even get top 10 people.
Do you know the funny thing was? I remember when I was bringing up all the stats for the last 6 months, 12 months. This was before the injury crisis. Do you remember? And I was bringing up spreadsheets and I was saying, this is why I don't rate and this is why I think it's bad. And I was told, only 4 points off top four, only 5 points off, only 7 points off, only 9 points off. The lower we've gone down, now it's changed to, but you can't help it. It's like, no, he isn't. Look, he isn't for me. Let me get to, by the way, we are 6 subscribers away from 16.6K. 6. Excuse me. Bless me. 6. I'm sure 6 of you haven't subscribed and can. Please do. Here is the, hang on. Let me get to there. There we go. Here is the link to subscribe. Please, if you would be so kind. We went past 16K 2 weeks ago and we're already trying to get to the 17K, which would be amazing. And please subscribe to Stel as well. And we are 30 likes off of 300. Stel, next question. Here we go. Let's go with this one. Nope, we've done that. Mari. So what must Levy do to make you Levy in?
Resign.
Nothing for me.
Resign. If he resigns, I'll be Levy in. I'll be Levy in. He has to win. He has to win the Champions League or the Premier League. It's the only way. Even if we won the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, I would not be Levy in. No, I can't just forget.
I said this years and years ago. I said this years and years and years. I said this in my days of being on Twitter. Like, I haven't been on Twitter for 5 years still. But when I was on Twitter, this is what I said. I said, for me to be Levy in now, I need to see multiple windows of ambition. I need to see multiple windows. You know, the sort of window still where you get to the end of the window and you go, right, this is all on the manager now. He's been backed. This is all on the manager. I've not seen one window since I said that. That must have been about 10, 11, 12 windows ago. I've not seen one window where I've gone, cool, Levy's changed. Or Levy means business.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's all the same. Big up to that question. Yeah. Terry O'Shea said, big up Savva Stel. Big up, Terry. How you doing, man? Said, up, question, what sort of numbers are you expecting, hoping for this first protest march? I'll be there with my boy, even though not attending the game. I can't moan unless I take action. do you know what sort of numbers are expected?
I think this will be the biggest protest that has ever been held since Levy and Enoch have been in charge. Right. I will say this. Brian's going to push it. Savva's pushing it. Last Word on Spurs are pushing it. I'm going to be pushing it tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. Change for Spurs are pushing it. I think we will have anything between 500 to 1,000. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but believe you me, for us as a Spurs fan base, that's big. And that walking down the high street as one, that will take over the high road. That as a group will take over the high road. So it could be more. I think, and I agree with that comment there from Rob. Anything less than 500 is failure. I agree. But I think we will get those numbers. I think going out of the two cups has just ramped it up. If we had beaten Villa or Liverpool, I think it would have calmed it down a bit. Going out of the cups, I think it's now just made everyone think that they just want everything to change. They don't want this anymore. Whether it's Ange out, Levy out, whatever. Fans want this to stop. They don't want this anymore. So I think between 500 to 1,000. And if you think about it, the stadium holds 62,000. There's people coming that aren't even going to the game. If we can't get 1% of that stadium, which is 620, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? So I think it will be, and in fact, I know it will be the biggest protest. By the way, the people that used to protest, that stopped doing it because they just got fed up of being laughed at, they're all coming out for it. And I know people, I've had more emails and messages the past 2 weeks about this protest than I've ever had before. I know people traveling down from parts of the UK, like Terry, I'm bringing my boy. I know other people bringing their kids as well. So this is going to be a big one for us. This will be a big one. How big, I don't know. If we get like 2,000-3,000, I mean, amazing. But I think between 500 to 1,000 is realistic. That's my view.
And where's the meeting point for people that want to go?
I'm not 100% sure, but Jay said it's where Lordship Lane meets the high road, but Lordship Lane doesn't meet the high road. It connects onto, I forgot the name, Bruce Grove. So, but tomorrow night I'll get Jay to clarify exactly.
Yeah. What tomorrow night, everyone, 8:30 on your channel.
Yeah. Like Nicholas, the thing is, Lordship Lane doesn't cross the high road. Lordship Lane goes onto Bruce Grove. So that's the bit I need to clarify with Jay.
Look, watch the show tomorrow night on Stel's channel with Jay. We've got all the answers. Listen, I am going to answer two more questions, Stel. I'm going to do two more questions. Some people I don't like, but I will still answer their questions. Big up, Lee. How are we doing? Lee has said, what are some of the biggest challenges facing the club? And how do you think the current management team can address them? He's taking the piss here, isn't he? He's taking the piss. Lee, I mean, now look, hang on. You got to finish that. How have they not scored there? I think that my problem now, Lee, is when we're talking about some of the biggest challenges, I think the owner is a challenge. I think the directors are a challenge. I think the director of football, the scouting, the medical team, the manager, the squad, the tactics. I think there are so many challenges at this club that there isn't one thing that fixes it. There isn't. And this is why when people want to talk about a project, a plan, a process, I know people like those buzzwords, but for me, I think this needs a complete change from top to bottom. This needs a complete change. This needs new owners that come in and say, you know what, here's what we're prepared to put in. We don't want Daniel Levy to be part of that, and we want to rip it out. So, i.e., imagine new owners came in, and of course, there's always, we've got to be honest here, there's always a risk because we don't know what the new owners will do. But hypothetically, from my point of view, if new owners came in and bought the club, let's say the last day of the season this year, new owners buy the club. What I want them to do immediately is completely rip everything out. Director of football, everything. The director of football, the manager. I want half the squad gone. I want to start again. And then if people turn around and go, under these new owners, it's a project or a process, cool. I will give that time. But I can't hear that every year it's a project or a process with Levy, Lang, Ange, Munn, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's a long-winded answer, but probably didn't answer anything, Lee. But hey.
For me, and I've been clear about this, I've been very clear about this. And I said it when I was arguing with Sim on We Are Tottenham TV after the Liverpool Villa result. I can't remember which one it was. If you get rid of Enoch and Levy, there's no guarantees we get a good owner. Okay, we could get a really bad owner. We could get another Levy type owner, so Levy 2.0, or we could get a brilliant owner. And what I mean by good, bad Levy, someone that's going to really focus on changing the football culture and have that goal of this is why we're here, this is what we want to win, this is the time frame, this is how we're going to do it. The question isn't, are you Levy out, Levy in? That's not the question. The question should be, do you want to carry on as we are, or do you want to take a chance at what something new might look like? And I repeat, it might look good, it might look bad, it might look the same. For me, I don't want this anymore. After 25 years of them, they've been in charge the longest of any Premier League ownership. They've been in charge of Spurs longer than any Spurs ownership. They've had 25 years to get it right, and they've got it wrong every single time. They've got it catastrophically wrong. And this project we're currently on now, Mun, Lange, Ange, data analytics, has backfired spectacularly. It is a mess. Further proof that they can't get it right. So for me, I don't want this anymore. Whether we finish top 4, 10th, 6th, semi-finals, I don't want this anymore. I don't want it. I want to take the chance that we might get a better owner, knowing we might get one that's worse, because I don't want this anymore. So the question isn't Levy in, Levy out. For me, the question should be, do you want to take a chance at something new? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And for me, yeah, I do want that chance because I don't want this anymore. And I think that's what question fans need to ask themselves, because I think there's quite a few fans, Savva, that would say, no, just keep it as it is. I'm comfortable with this. But for a lot of other fans, it's, I'm done with this. I literally, like you said, I can't sit here every transfer window looking at these transfers thinking that anything's going to change. I can't do this anymore. So it's where you are. Do you want to roll the dice, or do you want to just keep playing the same game? That's where I think every fan needs to ask themselves that question.
Agreed. By the way, I'm going to bring in a new segment to my show called Player Watch. I've just been watching for the last 3 minutes the right winger of Club Brugge, who I've never seen play before. And I'm telling you right now, from what I've just seen of him in 3 minutes, this is how mad it is. In 3 minutes, he is a proper talent. I have just seen him go past his fullback twice and put in 2 very good crosses. I've not seen a Spurs player do that for years. And he is 19-year-old, never heard of him. Chemsdean Taubé. He's 19. He's from Belgium. I tell you what, watch out. What I've just seen him do, I've not seen a Spurs winger do all season. Shifted out his feet, knocked it past his player, whipped in a cross. Absolutely brilliant. So bear in mind, leave that there. I've got one last question from one of my channel members. Before I do, I love this from Johnny Wade. It's a question for Savva. Whose name sounds cooler, yours or Stelios? I mean, I genuinely don't know how to answer that. I have no idea what that means, Johnny. I don't know.
I'm gonna say Stelios.
I've always thought, in a narcissistic way, that the name Savva would be quite good on the back of like a Spanish player's, you know what I mean? Like up front, number 9, Savva. But hey, I don't know. Look,
mine would look good on an airline T-shirt.
Stelios, yeah, it would indeed. It would indeed. Last question of the day. Jim Bird, Corey's big up, Jim. Thank you very much. Sorry it's taken me so long to get to your question. Oh, he's that winger again. Tell me if anyone's watching Atalanta right now. Tell me that anyone doesn't rate that kid. Number 68, Taubé. I am telling you right now. Tell me who's watching that game. He's a player. He's a footballer and a half, this lad. All day long. Do you think the reason Ange hasn't been sacked yet, it's the fact that he's on a 4-year contract and maybe it's a 2+2, depending on position results? So Levy might be waiting for the season end.
What does that mean? Is it 2+2?
So it might be that, hey, he's got 2 years and you'll get an additional 2 years should you reach XYZ milestone.
For me, the answer is no, because Conte was on £20 million a year. Mourinho was on £15 million a year. On these high value contracts, if you had Conte and Mourinho on 3 years and you sack them after one, then you've got to pay like 40 million, 30 million out. Ange's on what, 3 million, 4 million a year? Paying Ange for 4 years is less than paying Mourinho or Conte for 1 year. So you can afford to give Ange a 4-year contract if he's earning £2-3 million a year. Because if you pull the plug, what's the compensation? 6 million? What's that compared to sacking Mourinho, Conte, or Pochettino was on 8 million? When the contract is low wages, don't look at the length. It means nothing. The compensation is going to be tiny. Sacking Mourinho cost us more than if you were to sack Ange after 1 year in a 4-year contract. Just add that up. So I don't think it's the contract that's the problem. I don't think so. It's something else. Some people say it's because there's no one else out there that they can bring in right now. Some are saying because Levy wants to give him a chance. Some are saying because the players are going to revolt and Levy will lose the players because they've come out and said that they love Ange and they're going to back him. Some say it's because Levy's worried how the fans will react if another project fails. There's many reasons. I don't know what it is anymore. I've given up. I think anyone that thinks they know it's gossip and they're guessing. No, the truth is no one knows what's going on at the club anymore. It's impossible to know. I don't think it's the money though, Savva. He's earning too low an amount as a salary for anyone to worry about compensation. He's not earning a lot as a manager compared to everyone else we've had.
I agree. I mean, first of all, Demetrius, dude, you've got to stop with these really silly takes. I mean, what do you mean? Look at Marmoush has played about a game and a half for Man City. I mean, if you don't think Marmoush is a top player, then you go away. The trolling just gets ridiculous. What I do want to say is I want everyone to just acknowledge our great leader for 30 seconds. We need to acknowledge this. I'll leave you with this. We are coming back. This isn't the end of the show, so please stick with me.
Simple. We've got our Tottenham back. I just feel that, we're seeing football that we used to see, and that's all we want.
We're seeing football we used to see. I've never known the tactics. I believe this tactical setup is called the parting. It's called the parting. Make of that what you will. That's our tactics. Guys and girls, I will leave it there. Thank you so much to everyone for their likes, subscribe, for the super chats. What I will say is to this absolute dickhead of a human being, you're lucky I'm in a good mood because this is what I got earlier. I hope that that dog of yours doesn't get well because he has a mentally ill owner. If anyone wants to know why I bring that up, it's to show to you all, this is mild. This is the sort of shit I get all day, every day. Now using my dog that is dying as a reason to have a little poke at me. Hey, it is what it is.
Savva, you know these comments like that, these personal attacks, right? They all stem from an inability to argue the footballing points. When people just are incapable of arguing the football, they want to take it to a personal, horrible place. And this is what happens. And it doesn't just happen to you and I, it happens to others as well, right?
Oh, sure. Loads.
I get accused of hitting out at people sometimes as well. But quite often it's because I just can't listen to the amount of abuse that comes, right? But I often find that people that want to talk about, in what world is it normal to talk about a dog passing away and it's a reflection of the owner? Like, where are we going with that? Like, what is the outcome of that? It's just an inability to argue or discuss the footballing opinions that you don't like hearing. And it's fucked. It's fucked that we can't talk football and we've got to end up doing that. And it happens every day. It's just, and we'll never know who that person is. God knows what country they're from, what fake account they set up. But
this baby, this baby, they hope doesn't get better whilst he's been told he's got less than 6 months to live. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Whether you're a dog person or not, this is my baby. This is the face of Football Heritage TV. And I've got people. That's not the only one I've had, by the way. I've had some absolutely sick comments about my dog that is slowly dying. Let that sink in, people, before you think that people can just write whatever they want about YouTubers. How disgusting is that?
Savage, you know what? There's this guy, I won't mention his name, who I follow on the internet. He's very famous in the business world. And I went to one of his conferences last year. I flew out to America. I like him. I think he's a good person to learn from. Anyway, he said, he was asked a question, why don't you ever put pictures of you up with your wife, your kids? Why don't you ever talk about your personal life? You never talk about it. He goes, I'll never do that. He goes, yeah, but everyone else does. He goes, yeah, but I'm not doing that. And they said, why? I don't want to give the opportunity to someone who I've opened up about my personal life attacking me on it. So you know what?
Yeah.
You putting up the message about your dog on the internet, you did it in good nature. Maybe it's just a case of Savva. We just need to stop sharing anything personal online. Like, just stop it, because it just opens up that one or two dickhead that's going to come and do this shit. It's just
mad. Anyway, I thought I'd end it on that because I want people to realize, by the way, that all YouTubers are human beings as well. And there's only so much shit you can read about yourself all the time. Anyway, listen, thank you very much. As I said, the last couple of days, thank you very much for all your kind comments. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate the likes. I do appreciate the subscribers. I'm only out here to tell my truth. That's all I'm out here to do. I'm not out here. I've been told, I've been accused that I'm out here because I want to get a TV deal. I don't know what that means, wanting to get, they either ring you or they don't. Like, it's not something you can control. I'm not in it for that.
Could you imagine us on TV? It'd be fucking amazing.
We'd be cancelled.
It'd be the most watched show it'd be phenomenal. Imagine on media TV. Imagine on live media. What do you think of Andrew's tactics today's guys? Okay. I'll tell you.
I'll be like, how long until the next advert? Big up, Terry. Thank you so much for this. That's very generous. I said this is for a treat for Frank, for the Spurs community. Keep up the great work. We all have love for you. No, thank you very much. Listen, I couldn't believe it when I read that message. I was just like, wow, like you've gone so low. You're not even calling me a CUNT. You're hoping that my dog dies. Like, thank you. That's amazing. Guys, thank you very much. Stel, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time, as always. Big up to each and every one of you. Thank you, Terry. That is very generous. Thank you to everyone else. Guys, please, tomorrow I won't have a morning show tomorrow. I don't have a morning show tomorrow. I do have a show at 4 p.m. with Ashmatic. So it's going to be me and Ashmatic in a one-on-one. Join me for that. And please join Stel's show tomorrow night, 8:30. Where he'll be joined by Jay from Change for Tottenham. And they'll be talking all things protesting. Guys, girls, absolute pleasure. Oh, I'm having a mare. See you later. Go and enjoy the Merseyside derby. I've had to cancel my watch-along for anyone that asked. Take care. And as always, Ange out, Levy out, Enoch out. But come on, you Spurs.